Bashy, also known as Ashley Thomas, returned to rap after 15 years, dropping his award-winning album, Being Poor is Expensive. This album secured him his sought-after Best Album and Best Hip Hop Act at the Mobile Awards in 2025. And this album gave a real view of growing up in inner city London, specifically northwest London. And he also gave a view of Black, Caribbean, British culture and where it started and where it is now. So let's go on a journey through this album on how it was created and why it is such a great and classic album.
Ashley Thomas was born on the 4th of February 1985. In the album, on songs like How Black Men Lose Their Smile and Sweet Boys Turn Sour, Bashy explains his childhood growing up and the good times. Him being raised by his parents, them being very encouraging. Him also growing up in the 90s era, looking up to footballers like Ian Wright for Arsenal, playing video games like Street Fighter. Yeah, it's basically just good, carefree times and nostalgia, really.
And I think Bashy's point when he's talking about this is he's talking about a lot of kids come from good homes. They have good, do you know what I mean, upbringings. They have religious upbringings. They have good influences from families and friends and stuff like that. And then when they come outside their house and they're faced with their environment, that's when things change and that's when the bad influences come in. Like, do you understand my point? Like, media, not social media, but just media in general, people that you're around, like, looking at things that are not positive and encouraging them instead. And from a young age, Bashy has been involved in acting, going to the Brit School, which is in England, is a notorious school for like acting and filmmaking and dancing. He even said himself in parts of the album and in documentaries around the album that if he didn't have acting in his early life, he doesn't know what path he would have gone down.
Bashy got into music in the early 2000s, going on grime, pirate radio stations like Deja Vu FM, with the likes of K&O, DWE, etc. This is where people would just spit on grime sets and really just work on their craft.
And around these grime times, he has an iconic moment with Gets, where they're spitting back and forth on a Lords of the Mics thing. It wasn't Lord of the Mics, but you know what I mean? How man used to do clashes back in the day like that, and an iconic moment happened where Bashy said, gets this thing like gets touched up in jail or something like that. He gets touched up in jail.
Come on, don't bring it to me. You ain't got no money. Your goatee for all big looking, all dummy. I heard you was in jail getting banged in your cell. You don't want to bring it to me, man, because I split well. Look, man, you just land out of felt. You had niggas in your cell banging them in the shower for about an hour. Come on, man, I know the plan.
Oh, you fucking pussy. It's mad though. Ask that man, I was a fucking bad boy. It's mad though. God, man, do your research. Hey, where's Carlos? Ask him how man was in jail about fucking truth. Stick to the truth.
And Gets got triggered and man just bugged out and he went, ask man how bad I was in jail. Ask man.
I was a bad boy, you fucking pussy. Right. You fucking pussy, stop chatting shit. Man, I had to hold him back.
Ask Carlos how I was in jail. Ask Carlos. And even Stormzy made a tune about this situation called what is it called again? Is it called Ask Carlos? It had J Hus.
That's it, Bad Boys, yeah.
It had J Hus, Gets, and Stormzy on it. The hook is called by J Hus. You're not bad, I'm bad. Ask Carlos. And that's just a throwback back to Gets. You know what I mean? Saying that was Bashy, but yeah, even Bashy in the situation, you can see he was saying it's just bars. Calm down, it's just bars. It's not that deep. But yeah, back then people took their bars seriously. If you diss the man, the whole thing could get locked off. Even though people took it as a sport, there still was a side where you don't go too far, don't violate too much. He shows his legacy and how long Bashy's been involved in grime and UK music in general. And Bashy also had an iconic theme tune, which was for the adulthood movie called Kidulthood to Adulthood. And this song, well, I knew this song before I knew Bashy. I didn't even know who Bashy was these times. But this tune is iconic, man. And this is what I think this is the Bashy, like the old school Bashy, where he's just on pure energy, pure vibes. And he's still saying, he's still got the conscious. I feel like he's always had that conscious side to him. He's never been on any full badness. Do you get what I mean? He's always like with the Black Boys tune that he had, which is out of this world. Where I feel like this album that he's done now is very similar to Black Boys, but he's always been on this conscious wave of, do you get what I mean? Even in the Kidulthood thing, he says, man, these little kids don't understand. They come out and they can't get a job and stuff like that. Like, he's always been on that, always been on educating, man. But yeah, Bashy's had iconic moments from day. And in the late noughties, I think is when Bashy started going over to rap and leaving grime behind, kind of. He's still also always been on this grime thing. Even on this album, he has a grime. I would call Sticky a grime tune.
It is.
He is a tune called Sticky, which was the Daily Duppy for his album. And this tune is just, I think that's my favourite on the album, Sticky. Sticky is insane. But yeah, in the late noughties is when he moved away from grime and went towards rap with the mixtapes like the Chubba Bubba mixtape, which had hit tunes like 4 o'clock. What else? There was another tune on that.
And had the remake of Tiny Temple's Wifey with him in it.
Yeah, there's another tune on that, but I completely forgot. But yeah, and then after that, he had his album Catch Me If You Can, which is his first studio album, which was 15 years before Being Poor Is Expensive. And this is the album that had Kidulthood to Adulthood on it.
And Black Boys as well.
It had Black Boys on it, yeah. And this is his last musical project before the Being Poor Is Expensive in 2024, which is crazy. A whole 15-year gap in his career in music where he fully went to focus on acting. And it's mental, like, this album, the quality and the level in any profession, in any walk of life, if you leave it for 15 years, you should be rusty. You should not be as good as you were. You should maybe you could get back to that level, but it should take time. To just drop an album after ghosting for that long, and I would say it's better. He's got better than he was before. Because the songs on that, I know what your favourite song is on the album, but there's songs on that album that are just legendary. Okay, go on with your one.
My favourite one is Blessed. As a song to like vibe to, I would say that's the best one. You're highly on the hook from Western. The message of it, I feel it's a tune that like most people can relate to, especially with the hook. God always makes sure we blessed. Like, people who follow God can relate.
And even on that tune, the greasy bars from Scraps, where he just, like, even him, he was on his peaceful thing on that tune there. But for me, I like that tune. That tune's cold. And even the way that, like, a lot of if you go and watch the documentary with Toddler T on how Bashy made the album, you can see the way it was made. It was so organic, like.
Bashy invited myself, Mikey, Casa, Kevin to get in a room and talk about music and culture. And out of that was a sort of unified, I guess you could say, hunger for a new sound that was more in tune with who we were.
A lot of the beats were remakes from tunes that they liked back in the days, especially the Made in Britain tune that was on the Windrush generation, and how his own family was talking about how his dad worked for Ford and his dad made cars and he came over to build this country after the war, and the disrespect they got. He even talked about how they were talking about no dogs, no Irish, no blacks that used to be on doors. Back in the day, you couldn't just go to, like, nowadays, that's what I'm saying, a lot of the people that are Caribbean, a lot of people, we act like we have the worst, it's so horrible out here, but these people came here, they got the most racist abuse.
I'm getting spat, bro. That's real life.
And they just come into. They've been invited here by the Queen. It wasn't like they like a lot of people now that are coming in. Do you know what I mean? Illegally, these people were invited. They thought they were going to the royal. They thought they were going to heaven, basically. And you've come here, and man are saying, go back to where you come from, all types of things. And you're coming to rebuild. Like, these people in, like, important roles. In nursing, in do you know what I mean? And there was lots of jobs that people did not want to do, and these people came over and did, and helped rebuild this country. And the abuse they got in them days. There were certain places, I've even heard from family members myself, there's certain places you do not go if you're black. At a certain time, certain places you do not go back then. There's even places now you could say, but it's barely any. There's barely any now in England. But back then, you don't go certain places. You know what I mean? There's certain places you can't go in, social places like pubs and stuff, which he was talking about on this album. And yeah, he just goes through so many social issues. It's crazy. He goes on how people get involved in gang life and how people get strayed the wrong way due to influences. How 1-2 incidents can happen that go wrong. Where he's even said himself he was involved in an incident where on Sweet Boys Turned Sour, he said that he was involved in an incident where he could have done something to someone and it could have changed his whole life. But luckily he didn't get that person and his life went a different way. Do you understand my point? And there's lots of people that are in that same situation that they either died or they went to jail and it didn't go well.
Yeah, or they end up obviously killing the person, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they get done for murder. So, yeah, this album, I feel like it's the mixture between the information people need to hear and the musical talent that was on display. Like, and especially for me, because I grew up in North West London. So hearing all the stuff is so like a lot of people might not be able to, it's so relatable. Do you know what I mean? It's so like niche. I feel like the album's so niche.
When you're speaking about certain areas specifically, like, because we grew up there, as you were just saying, you know, exactly, like where here is, where this is.
Exactly. So people that are outside of there, they might not understand what he's talking about. There's still common themes that you can understand if you're Black British. You can still understand stuff even if you're from a different place. They had a talk about it. What was the thing? It was called The Reasoning. Bashy had a talk about the album after the album came out with Kano and Posty and a few other people. And Kano even said himself, even though he grew up in East London, he still could relate to so many different social topics that went on, because a lot of the things that happen in North West London are happening in South London. The exact same thing. The exact same way people are joining gangs. The reasons why, over something stupid, over a school fight or something like that. Even he said about in North West 10 how people in North West London, people having beef over someone stole someone's bike 20 years ago. And now two people don't like each other and they don't even know why they don't like each other. They just don't like each other because of a postcode. It's stupid. You know what I mean? It's stupid. Like, if you were born in over there, then you would be that postcode now. It doesn't make any sense. Or you live there. Yeah, it's a mad album, like the way he goes into deep issues. And I feel like that's a key part of the album as well. The vulnerability on display. The vulnerability where he's just open about all the issues in his life, all the problems he went through, how he worked in jobs he didn't like he applied for lots of jobs, he didn't get it, so he became a bus driver. He used to be a postman, and he was doing jobs. He even said on one tune he fell asleep and crashed the bus. That's how tired he was. So, but he still kept going. But he was just saying like, yeah, he was just going so deep into different top subjects. And in his struggles, that it was just like sensational with the musical background, and Toddler T producing most of the tunes. On the Rise.
Oh yeah, that one's sick.
Yeah. And Toddler T was talking about how that it was his favourite tune on the album because the sample of that tune is what he and Bashy used to listen to back in the day, like 20, 30 years ago. I don't even know what the song is, but it's so like, Bashy said as soon as he heard that song, he was like, we have to do this, because as soon as he heard the beat, and I think they even recorded the song on a WhatsApp message.
Yeah, on a voice note.
My favourite tune I've ever made is On The Rise, and the reason it is because I remember sat in my living room with the Myron sample, Groove Chronicles, that me and Bashy absolutely love, and I don't know many people who love that tune as much as me and him, so alone that is a vibe. And I remember just doing a little skeleton of it and sent it him, and all he said was, "What's this?" That's all I needed to know, which was a thumbs up. And then you voiced it as a voice memo on a one loop, you know. Sent it me back and I dragged it in, and then I remember sitting in my house on the coffee table, just going into some next dimension, and I was able to flex how I want to flex as a producer. I start it in one key and then it switches to another key. And then the sample opens up and anyone who cares knows, oh, that was that. If I say so myself, I kind of shelled it. But also, it's not even that. It's about the DNA of the song without knowing it. Is all the way through it, but you don't catch it to the end. I remember sending it to Bashy and it giving me this like really like authentic appraisal of how good he thought it was.
Like the detail that was gone into and the authenticity. It's not like, oh, let's go to a board meeting about how to put this song together. It's what actually do I resonate with. And even on the Blessed tune that we talked about, which is his favourite, recently Tion Wayne and Leo Says Trill created a song called Crazy Love, where they sampled this song Blessed by Bashy, which I think most people don't even know. But I don't know if, I was asking you about this, I don't even know if Bashy sampled that from somewhere, the Blessed song, or it was made organically.
I would honestly put this album on the same level as Dave's Psychodrama. It is that good. Real talk. Like, people don't mention this album enough. Not even this album. Bashy. Whenever you hear Bashy come up in a rap conversation.
But that's because he's been Ghost for 50
years. That's true, but
there's a reason why.
But
you can't just, obviously you can compare people, but you can't just go back to the noughties and compare people to start doing those now. But now he's put himself into them conversations. I just want to see him continue, innit, from there. I don't want to see him Ghost for another 15 years. I want to see another album in the next 2-3 years. I know you can't get on this level, but something similar. And yeah, Bashy has been heavily influenced, like we said earlier, by acting. And he's been throughout the 15 years when he was away, he was acting. And he even acted in Top Boy, when the Top Boy came back when Drake sponsored Top Boy. I think it was 2019, 2020, around that time. And he was acting with his friend Kano, who played the character Sully in Top Boy. And he even said in his Thoughts in the Cully with Posty on GRM Daily that he had a huge opportunity in America around this time for an acting role. And it would have been big piece, like it would have been changed his life. Do you get what I mean? And he also had Top Boy on the line. He turned down that big opportunity to do Top Boy, which was like, at the time was a big risk for his career. Maybe it's like, but he said, because it was for the culture, he went with it. And he said, because it did so well, and after he had lots more opportunities from that, it worked out well. But he had to take that risk in that scenario where a lot of people just go for the big bag and just forget about the culture. But I feel like that's where people culture and loyalties get tested. It's when money's thrown at you.
Yeah.
Are you going to take that? Which is not. There's nothing wrong with it. If that's just you, that's you. But are you gonna, like, in that situation? It would have been easier to just take that role. But he said, "No, I can't skip out on this." And his acting role in that show was legendary again.
There was an iconic moment from Bashy in Top Boy when he confronted Sully, his cousin, about kidnapping him. And then Sully was there, just acting bare sarcastic and just taking the mick. It was jokes, man.
Yeah, I think the scene when you can pretend to be Kane and I'll be. His name
was Jermaine, innit?
Jermaine, yeah, in Top Boy. Man was like, So what? When was it? When was it right? I need to stop laughing. So when was it right to chain your cousin to a radiator and leave him to die?
You're still going on about that.
When I saw that, bro, he actually wanted to. He said, leave that in the past. That's what Kano said. Leave that in the past.
Since when was kidnapping your cousin, right?
Words. And he said, you're still going on about that. That was too funny. You see, like the way he said it in that, like the writing for that was good because the way he said it was like he was talking about someone stole his ball or something minor.
Yeah.
But he was like, you're still going on about that. But yeah, Bashy, I feel like after that time, the Jermaine character wanted to destroy like Sully, even though they're related, which does happen in real life. There is real life situations of cousins that have beef and stuff, family members that have problems. Before and after Top Boy, he's been involved in so many movies and series, and yeah, I've barely watched any of them. I need to go and actually watch it because a lot of them were American movies and films. I think I've seen one where it's something to do with him in America. He's got an American accent on, and he's like, how do I explain it? He was going. It's like he was in a racist town or something like that, and I've seen a clip of it where he got attacked by some racist people coming after him. But yeah, I need to go. I haven't watched it, so I need to go and watch it because I want to see the performances of it because that's what he's been doing all this time since he's been away from music.
In 2025, Bashy won 2 Mobos for Best Act in Hip Hop and Best Album.
The winner of the Best Hip Hop Act supported by BBC Radio 1 Extra is...
Bashy!
Bashy!
That's how black men lose their smile. I was a clever child, smart, I was sharp as nails, more advanced than my... Wow. The truth will set you free. I stood in my truth, man. I stood in my community's truth. And now man's here. I'm just a regular guy from the ends. Yeah? I was a bus driver. I was a postman. I worked in retail. Yeah? So if you're out there and you're seeing this, and you're working a job to fund your passion, don't be ashamed of your job. Don't be embarrassed of your job. It's okay to work, all right? This is an amazing honor, man. I'm humbled. I'm bringing this back to West London and North West London. Thank you to my ends for allowing me to tell our story, yeah, and championing me in the way that you have. And to the surrounding areas, North London, South London, East London, up and down the country, thank you for supporting me.
And if you saw the speech that he gave when he won his Mobos, it was so inspiring. He was talking about how if you're in a 9-to-5, keep grinding. Put your money into your passion and keep grinding. Don't let all these outside things distract you, the crime, etc., bad influences, bad friends, all of that. And he's literally the prime example of all the hard work, of what the hard work has got him to.
And even he says on one of the tunes in Being Poor is Expensive that there's bare people he knew back in the day when he was rapping and acting that were looking at him funny. I think he said it on, I can't remember the tune, Midnight in Balance, I think it is. That's what the tune's called. But he was saying how about there's people taking the piss out of him because he was rapping and acting back in the day. And now he said that now they're 35 years old and they're starting rap careers. So now it's popular. Now you want to jump on the wave. But when I was doing it back in the day, you weren't trying to do that. You were trying to do fuckery. Or you were trying to take... And also, in the Mobos, he performed a couple songs from the album. He performed Black Boys Use a Smile, and I think he performed Sticky.
Yeah. Okay.
Made mistakes in life, no regrets, gotta live with that. No DJ can't bring it back, no DJs can't bring it back. People don't wanna see you grow, they're always bringing up this and that. Standing my truth, I live in that. When man's in the feelings, give them facts. Yo, looking back at some pictures and they had me thinking, wow, I was a happy child. Very happy, my air nappy, running round in my nappy wild. Beautiful skin, dark chocolate brown, really round, temperament mild. For the age of 1 I could count. The world was home on my nana's house. Everyone dancing, laughing loud. There was encouragement all around. Safe environment, could be myself. My hair in plaits long as any girls. Got to school, this is to take it out. That's how black men lose their smile. I was a clever child, smart, I was sharp as nails. More advanced than my whole class. Learning that their pace slowed me down. I sped through work, then would mess about. They should have given me extra help, but said I was troubled and kicked me out. That's how black men lose their smile. By any means, I will survive. I will try to the day I die. We're out here fighting for our lives. And that's how black men lose their smile.
And yeah, it went mad. Because a lot of people, even though this album did very well, I feel like it's still it needs more recognition. So a lot of people don't even know the tunes he was rapping. And yeah, like imagine you're seeing that for the first time performed. That's what he said. I feel like that's a good point you made. That is very similar to Dave, where that shows the level of Dave, because Bashy's old. He's older. He's matured. He's in his 30s, 40s, I don't know what he is, 30s, 40s.
I think he's bang on 40.
Yeah, he just turned 40, so, you know what I mean, he's matured and he's learned lots of things throughout his life. Dave was making music like this at 17, 18, making tunes like, what's the tune called? Picture Me, yeah. So, that's what I'm saying, Dave is different, man, but yeah, I feel like they're in the same type of lane, and to be creatively in that lane, when you've been gone for so long, I kind of keep saying it again, it's mental. He must have been practicing or barring throughout the years. Or something like that. Because it's too mad, it's crazy, man. Even Kano said that. He got better when he came back. It's mad. But yeah, when he performed at the MOBAs and the speech was too yeah, bro, it's just deserved. You can't give it to anyone else.
And it's not a thing of him just saying it and not practicing what he preaches. He literally is the blueprint. He worked jobs, etc., doubled into different avenues, and literally stayed persistent, and now look where he is.
And also, in black British culture, he's one of the people that helped build it. If we're looking at music, he's been there from Black Boys, which was a huge tune back in the day on Channel U. I was like 4 years old, so I'm not going to say I'll remember it. I remember I've watched it back and it's bare inspiring, but that's a huge tune. He's been involved in Top Boy. He's been involved in so many important pillars in acting, where a lot of other people, maybe musicians that turned actors, probably learned from him and took so many skills off him, where he's actually been an actor from day. And he's just, even in the music scene, with stuff like Black Boys, with this album, with a lot of things back in the day, even in the grime scene, you can't deny it, man. He's up there with one of the most impactful people in the UK, like urban scene, end of. And he's got that iconic ad-lib. Don't you know? I just want to say big up to Bashy as well. I've listened to this album so many times, and yeah, it's just too real, man. It's too real. The musical talent on it, the throwbacks, the stuff he's talking about, like even the actual name of the album, Being Poor is Expensive, how people need to understand financial literacy and understand like how that works, because there's a lot of people in the black community don't understand that stuff, and that's how we fall. He even said himself he didn't understand his taxes back in the day, and it messed him up. He had to pay so much of it back. And yeah, stuff like that, like he's just dropping gems on people. Instead of listening, it's not everyday guns, knives, drugs, talking about the same topic, dressing the same way, on the same block, with the same chain, You're not. What makes you different to the other person on the other block? You're the same thing. You talk about the same thing. You dress the same way. You act the same way. Albums like this is when man's being open and honest and doesn't care about criticism, doesn't care how people judge him. Just like, you can't give me an album the same as that album. You can give me similarities like Dave's one, but it's so specific to him and it's so specific to his real life struggles, instead of glamorizing and trying to put up an image. He's just being real. Man telling you the raw things he did well in and the things he failed in. Do you know what I mean? Instead of people just trying to put some persona, oh, I'm the guy. Like, allow it, man. Everyone goes through stuff.
Yeah, man, as I was saying before, this album is a straight 10 out of 10. And if we're talking just based on the storytelling in general, if it's not in your top 5 UK rap albums of all time, you need to go and listen to this. And take it in. It's in the top 5. If we're talking the storytelling alone, it's there.
That's a big statement. That is a big statement. Top 5 UK albums. And I'm not even going to say, like, that's mad what you're saying. I hear it. Yeah, but there's so many albums, I feel like we have to do a tier list or something like that to actually, because just put him instantly in the top 5, I don't know about that, but he's up there, 100%. There's so many quality albums, man.
Big up Bashy, man. Each and every time, for real, man. A real icon in the UK music scene. Let us know your thoughts on the album and just Bashy in general. Like and subscribe. It's been Jamneys TV, and we're out.